go over to the first bit of our show, which is the our Mortal Kombat review. And with us, we've got a very special guest. You can find her on Rachel's Reviews and on Rotten Tomatoes. It's Rachel from Rachel Reviews. What's up? Hello. So, Rachel, me and you have both been covering Mortal Kombat movies together. We did the 1995, then the 97 version, Annihilation. We did that. We endured through that like a phoenix rising from the ashes. And now we've got this. Thank you for joining us. And spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about spoilers with this movie because there's just too many things that happen in this. And I mean, now that it's out on streaming, which it will, like, it's always going to be out the day of now with HBO Max, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So, Rachel. Little late on the spoiler there. No, it worked. But anyway, we're gonna be talking spoilers. What did you think after seeing this? Go ahead, Rachel.
So I titled my review. I titled it "Mortal Kombat is effective action enough," and that's what it really comes down to. If you just want to go see some cool action, then it's fine. But everything outside of that, I thought was pretty terrible. The acting is not good. The writing is not good. The story was not good. I found one of the characters played by Josh Lawson to be incredibly annoying. Kano. He was the worst, and I just wanted him to shut up. He was awful. And even the fighting, especially the first part of the fighting was by far the best. Mm. And then, like, for probably half the movie, they're just in this kind of cave arena situation, and so it's not as like interesting a fighting as like more natural fighting as opposed to like fighting. And I know that's part of the game. I know hardly anything about the game aside from what I've seen in the previous two movies. So this is not made for me. I admit that up front, but I just thought that on all other levels, the movie was pretty bad, and I couldn't go fresh on it. It was just too many other things about it that were not good to me to say. But if you really only care about action, then yeah, it has some, especially the first 15 minutes, it has some really good action.
So you would call this more of a
brutality
than anything.
Yeah, I guess so.
We use that in our. But here's the thing, because you told me in private message, so is it okay that I bring up the fact that you liked the 95 version better than the 2021 version?
Correct. That would be correct. Because I feel like the 95 version had more fun. It was more entertaining to me. It was more campy. It was more silly. This tried to take itself very seriously and is all bloody and gritty. And it seems to be the answer to how to modernize properties these days. Is we got to make them dark and gritty. You know, you can't have Superman having any fun. You got to make them all sad all the time. And I think that's just not my favorite choice. I don't love it. No, I would rather watch something that's campy and silly than something that's dark and gritty and I don't know, taking itself super seriously.
I can see that, especially because like this came out during a time, or at least it started in pre-development during a time where they were making the series, the Mortal Kombat Legacy series, which was a little bit more serious. And it was like a web series. Back when web series were happening, it would be like 9-minute little webisodes with each character. Then it had actually 3 seasons. The third one was unpublished, but they filmed all of it. It feels like they were trying to go for that, Chaz. Do you think that they had enough silliness with the seriousness? What are your thoughts on Mortal Kombat?
I liked it.
You didn't liked it.
I liked it. No, I said I liked it. No, I get it. It's just dumb fun for me. I did think about the web series though, watching it, because it did have that gritty vibe to it. And I remember when those first came out, people were like, "Is this going to lead to like the remake, and that was like what, almost 10 years ago, like when those first came out.
Yeah.
And I thought they were like fan made then. Like I didn't really think it was like an actual web series per se. So I didn't know it had three seasons to it. So I kind of wish it took itself a little bit more serious in that way and not humor with like, Kano.
Okay. Kano sucks. Can we address it? Kano sucks. He's the worst character of the entire thing.
He gets what it's coming to him though.
What do you mean? He gets
his ass kicked.
He was so annoying. That whole scene,
not enough to give him every single line.
Dude, it was
he
so
had
on purpose.
Every line. He should not have.
So on purpose though. They were setting that up.
He was so annoying that lasers came out of his eyes. That's how annoying he was.
And like, doesn't he have a metal plate in the game? It's not supposed to just come out of his eyes.
Dude, he might have a metal plate now after like.
Let's also talk about the fact that originally this was a Japanese character.
Kano was?
Yeah.
What?
In the original like first Mortal Kombat game, he was mistaken for being Australian instead of Japanese for some reason, and then they just kind of went with it.
What?
Yeah. I might be wrong.
That's news.
But I don't think I am.
That's news. Here's the thing. Let me ask you guys a question. Rachel, have you played the games then? Yes or no?
Never. I know nothing about the games at all. And so my only familiarity would be the previous two movies, which I watched last week.
Okay. Patrick, you've played the games.
I did.
What was your first like Mortal Kombat game introduction?
Game introduction. Oh, it's way the hell back in like Sega, Super Nintendo.
Oh,
when you would walk downstairs and you would sneak up behind your adult cousin that was playing Mortal Kombat with your other adult cousins. You're like, this is so cool. And then you see a spine be ripped out. Then your mom comes down. And it's like, time to go. What are you doing? Oh, you stupid kid! I'm gonna kill you. And she gets so angry. Like, but I'm not speaking from experience or anything.
Dude.
Like that.
Well, so mine was Deadly Alliance, and then Deadly Alliance, Sub-Zero's like an old white dude, and so seeing how he was not white in this movie kind of threw me through a loop because I thought he was, but it turns out he's actually not in the original video games.
Here's the problem with the entire thing. They've centered it around this main character that is definitely was in the studio as a note to be the main character, not in any Mortal Kombat anywhere. Like he was made up for the film to be an introduction to it. You have so many other characters that you could use as the leading into this film. I don't think we needed him because then we had to have the stupid couple that we didn't care about, like the kid and the mom.
Yeah.
And let's talk about how stupid his choice was to be like, oh, so I'm going because I want to protect them and I'm going to leave them in this farm and make sure that they're okay and safe. And then he has like one bad training day and he's like, I'm going home. And then he goes back and immediately they're in danger.
Oh, dude, by like a super villain.
Yeah, but that was probably my favorite part. I mean, aside from the intro, because at least I don't know. I felt a little bit of something. Like when they were in that arena, it just wasn't as good to me. I preferred when they went outside the arena. And
the tournament never happens. In the film, the tournament never begins.
It's
like a prelude. It's like we're going to be mischievous to stop it or something.
Give me that. I'm for that.
What did you think of the fighting though, Rachel?
Yeah, I mean the fighting is pretty good, pretty impressive. I'm just particularly, like I said, the beginning, I think is the strongest part.
Yeah, I think Scorpion and Sub-Zero's were the strongest parts for me. The intro was so good, especially like introducing Scorpion, his motivation. What they should have done is kept going from there. Make this a revenge story where Scorpion is in the Nether Realms. He comes out, meets Raiden. Raiden is like, yeah, we will give you revenge for Sub-Zero. We can do that. But first you have to fight in our tournament.
No.
Yeah.
Because
that would totally work.
Here, the thing with the main character, I feel like they're setting it up for future video games.
But I don't
he's going to be a playable
character. This character is stupid.
Oh, it's dumb. I'm not.
Dude, he's so dull.
No, exactly. Here's the thing, though. Those video games
paint by the number.
Those video games don't even have the best writing either. So
I could go to a Del Taco, put in a quarter to one of those machines, and pop out the exact same character that this guy is in every movie. That is sloppily put together. But like, we need a protagonist. It's a character like this.
And the acting was not strong, but. I
He was
just think
better
that,
in Deadpool 2.
I
He's in
think
Deadpool
that
2?
they
Yeah.
could have learned something
He's
from
one of the
Deadpool.
disposable characters.
I think they could have learned something from Deadpool in making it a little bit more meta, a little bit more self-aware.
Yeah.
Maybe have some winking to the camera, maybe having some, just like
There's a
making it a
little bit.
little more fun
They had
and
that.
enjoyable.
A little bit.
He's like, this is made up, right? When he's like trying to explain the whole tournament thing, he's like, you want me to laugh? Because like that's ridiculous.
Well, I think people are. I think what most critics are not confused about, what they're upset with, if anything, about this is that they do have like the humor stuff, like when Kano kills Reptile, which is a fun scene. It's fun watching Kano break out, all of them kill the Reptile, pull out his heart. But when he ad-libs, Kano wins, oh, you fucking god, whatever he's saying, right? And then he says all this horrible stuff. It just doesn't work with a serious tone. So they give them this horrible dialogue that's like, this is supposed to work. But the tone is so serious that it doesn't. If it had like more Thor Ragnarok or something that was like,
was it serious though? I don't.
Well, and the character was so
more
annoying.
serious. He's like this MMA fighter. He starts with a cage fight. Like that's how he's introduced.
But the character was so shrieky and so annoying that you didn't get any kind of fun out of him because you're just like, ugh.
Agreed.
At least
Totally
I
agreed.
was.
But did you like Sub-Zero? I thought Sub-Zero was
Mhm.
menacing. He scared me, especially when he was in the Earth realm and he was creating all of the ice and throwing him at the stuff. Genuinely reminded me of Terminator 2. I loved it.
I also liked how he's. What was that?
Well, I think Sub-Zero and Scorpion were the best characters in the movie. But I don't know, it just wasn't enough for me. Like I said, I gave it a 5 out of 10. I was right on the edge, but I just thought that the writing and the acting and that one character and Kano were just too much for me to go.
Kano was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I gave it a 7 out of 10 merely because I do think the people that were invested in this behind the scenes did care about the source material and wanting to give the fans some stuff. A lot of people will complain about Johnny Cage not being in it. A lot of people will complain about no Katana. A lot of people will complain about some big characters that weren't introduced in this. However, there was enough. Like there was just enough.
Why do you think it seems impossible to make a really good video game movie? I mean, this was better than some of them, but I would prefer Tomb Raider over this. I thought Tomb Raider was more enjoyable.
I don't know. I have a theory. I wonder, and you guys will have to correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
There could be a superhero film somewhere in the decades that superhero films have been going that kind of popped the bubble of realism. You could probably call it The Dark Knight or something like that, right? Or something that popped that bubble of this is not something that we should only take as a comic book movie, but we should seriously take as a movie. Or on the flip side, something like Guardians, where it's like this is so out there and they really don't care about like trying to make this palatable for a mainstream audience, but giving you the source material. I don't think video games have struck that balance at all with anything yet. That's just me.
No, I don't think so.
I think playing video games. I mean, video games are like 60 hours.
Maybe Jumanji. But Jumanji is tough to consider a video game. It's tough to consider it.
That's a board game, isn't it?
I mean, if you're going really for original, then something like Wreck-It Ralph is good. But as far as actually based on actual games,
yeah, because here I think it's because video games are so long, like 60 hours, and you spend all that time with these character, right?
But a Mortal Kombat game isn't like that.
No,
and when they're simple like that, they do work a little better. Like Detective Pikachu worked really well.
But I mean, Mortal Kombat's plot though in the video game is so absurd itself that it's any way you try to convey it for exposition for the audience is going to come off as really dumb. And like for my main criticism in the Mortal Kombat film, the new one, is when they cut to the outer world, right? Like that seemed like, oh, now it's cheesy.
Outworld is just like a tower,
right?
It's like a rock.
Yeah,
it's a spear,
and all it's used for is for exposition dump to explain this tournament that we never see, like you say. And I feel like if they kept it grounded in the Earth realm and had these characters appear out of nowhere, where we get the sense of the outer world, I feel like it could have been a little bit more balanced in that sense, but it's hard. I think video games are just hard.
Did you catch Shang Tsung, who played him? He's from The Dark Knight. I believe it was Lau.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys remember Lau from The Dark Knight? He was also in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. He's the guy that he had to kidnap back from Hong Kong and bring back to Gotham. Chaz, you're going to lose all of your cred for not knowing one of Christopher Nolan's best films plot details.
He's in.
Oh my God. And he's just not answering.
The Hong Kong sequence.
Hong Kong sequence.
I know. It's like when he doesn't have his cape and like he just like, it's like an IMAX shot of the city and he goes in to break it. And it's when Morgan Freeman drops his cell phone off to disengage all the security.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
It did tee off. This movie did tee off. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Blood Knife. Oh, yeah. I loved Blood Knife. No?
Yeah.
It was in the trailer. Dude, here's the thing.
The ending was rushed.
The ending
except
was rushed.
for that last bit between Sub-Zero and Scorpion. That was good.
I mean, they did show the first 7 minutes, and that's probably the best part of the movie.
It really is. It really is.
It was a good choice for them, marketing-wise.
But I feel like the trailer had a lot of marketing material. Like the movie has a lot of marketing material, but they showed all the fun parts and the action bits that was going to tease in the trailer, and there was like no surprises. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's very true.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no. There were totally surprises. The fatalities were huge surprises. Can we talk about some of the fatalities? That's some spoilers that we can talk about.
You see that in the trailer, though.
Oh, but come on, Liu Kang's with the hat,
Natara girl
with the hat. Oh, it was so awesome. That was amazing.
And we see
when he
Goro
threw it, it was like, Ching! Which physically is not possible. That thing does not obey the laws of physics at all. You know.
Yeah. It's just
nobody wants to talk about
Goro
the blood,
dies. Okay, can we talk about that?
Goro dies. Oh yeah, with his little scyther hands.
Like
he's got his little pincer.
A part of me doesn't want these characters' deaths to be official. Like I want them to be
not
resurrected.
Because in the end, he's like
somehow.
Reset. He just made all of his characters go back to the other realm, and he's going to bring them back.
Well, and there's like a lot of sorcery in the video games, and I wanted to see
there's sorcery when you dig more into the other realms, because there's multiple realms in Mortal
I want to see
Kombat.
Quan Chi, dude. Bring Quan Chi.
That would take a lot to do. Here's either they should have focused on Scorpion, made this a revenge story, bringing in minimal characters from Mortal Kombat, but introducing that a tournament was happening, right? Like Raiden could be like, look, I just think that this person's up to something. Since you uniquely have an issue with Sub-Zero, you're perfect for infiltrating or trying to get involved or something like that. And you can make it like The Departed. Make Scorpion be like a bad guy, but be infiltrating that group while Raiden is dealing with Johnny Cage being the other protagonist who's coming in. He's like a washed up actor that Galaxy quests him into the Mortal Kombat universe. That can make it silly and stupid. And you can make all the funny, like, because he's a fighter. He does fight movies.
Right.
You can make all the silly, like, crotch punches and stuff. But they didn't.
Why didn't you pitch this to Warner Brothers, dude?
I think I could have made a better Mortal Kombat. No, I disagree.
So let me ask you a question then. So the video games always have these Easter eggs. Ed Boon, right? Who's one of the creative people in Mortal Kombat. He voices a lot of the characters. Do you think he had a cameo in this movie at all?
I don't know. It's possible. They do cameos in the form of like that one goblin's voice ended up being someone.
Right. And I wonder if there was any of that. Like maybe he did the get over here voice. Dude.
Get over here. Oh, we've got the button. What am I doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Get over here. But Rachel, any other thoughts on this?
I mean, would you put this above the 1995?
I would. And the only reason why is because I just wanted a faithful, like, visual adaptation and to have good fighting. Like, I went in here knowing it was going to try to be like a semi-serious tone and probably fail as far as like being the big thing. Because we never really see a video game adaptation. If you were to hedge your bets, it's never going to be above 50% that a video game movie is going to be good. But it's dumb enough. I don't think it's as dumb as Kong versus Godzilla or Godzilla versus Kong. And that's why Godzilla versus Kong is so much better. But this is enough with the fighting to make me interested in another one. I would check out another one, as long as the trailer promised to be sillier.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I just thought that the original one was more enjoyable. I don't know. I thought that it was more fun to watch. And this was just, I don't know. At a certain point, it got there was nothing in the original that really annoyed me the way that this Kano character annoyed me.
The Kano character really was the worst part. That's what dropped it down from everything for me.
Determining category for me of why I prefer the first one. So, but
how much would you get paid to go on a date with him, though? I would probably do it for
go on a date with Kano.
Dude, pepper spray and taser.
No, absolutely not.
And a knife.
Okay,
on a date.
Nobody's gonna think I have a number.
Yeah.
I have a number.
Okay, is this like a cameo kind of a thing? Like,
oh no, it's a full date. Like, there's no expectation at the end of the date. I don't have an expectation, and he better not. He better treat me right.
10K.
You make a documentary about your date with Kano.
Did you just hear that?
I felt like I was being like a big.
Rachel, did you just hear what he said?
What did he say?
He said $10,000 is all it would cost for him to.
If I'm gonna prostitute myself out to him, dude, I think 10,000 is reasonable. That pays like a whole year's worth of rent.
I think 10,000 is reasonable when talking about racist Australian. I think I'd go for 5 million
for a night, though. Like a night's
what do
only,
you mean a
dude,
night?
a night's only 12 hours. It's only 12 hours.
It's just a date. What kind of dating are you doing?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Here, y'all. Here, we're gonna make this work.
Like, what if Natalie gave you a pass on that too?
Here. This might be too loud. I gotta make sure I don't have it too loud. Hi there, Rachel. I'm glad that we're on this date. Here's your $10 million. Can I call you an Uber? No?
No.
All right. I guess this all just got weird. I don't know.
That did get weird.
5 million's for me, 10,000's for you. Rachel, what was yours? Nothing.
For a date with Kano?
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, I feel like I'm cheap. I mean, even though he's super annoying, I don't know. I'll have a meal with most anybody. Buy me dinner.
Then you gotta listen to him talk.
No.
Dude, the goal is to get him so blackout drunk that he just starts slurring, and then like you don't have to hear him being a racist asshole.
But you don't think he'll be able to pack it in? Like, he could probably pack down quite a bit.
I'm cheap at $1,000.
Ooh, $1,000. All right.
$1,000 from Rachel.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, anything else we want to talk about? Any more spoilers? I never have notes for these spoiler reviews. I think maybe we should jot down some next time.
I mean, if people have HBO Max, they can just watch it at home, and so, then you don't have to spend the money of going to the theater. So there's that option too. So
I like some of the origins that they had, like with Jax's arms, like explaining how he got metal arms. Sub-Zero.
That was weird.
I liked it, man. Man.
Oh, let's talk about that actually. How the symbol evolves people is very much like how Apocalypse did in X-Men Apocalypse, where suddenly they have a wardrobe evolve too. It's like, now you have a costume. Okay. I guess that's what the power does.
Well, I loved how he's like,
because what did it really give that one guy the power of? Like, he just has the swords and now he's got this.
He give him like suit. Black Panther suit where like he takes all the energy and like redoes it. Here's the thing though, dude. When Raiden's like, hey, this has been passed on.
Raiden wasn't white. That's good.
This has been passed on for generation and generation. I was like, weird. That's weird.
All right. Well,
there
that was our review for Mortal Kombat. Make sure to check out Rachel over at Rachel Reviews and everywhere else, social media, all that stuff. Rachel, thank you so much for coming on, and we hope to see you again for another one.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And let us jump into our next thing, which